Hi, I'm Brad Daniels with the Southern California Hibiscus Society. I'm also known as the Hibiscus Whisperer online. Today we're going to be talking about root pruning root-bound hibiscus in their pots. It's important to do this because if you don't, your hibiscus will eventually die from lack of nutrients and lack of water. And so follow along. It's an easy thing to do. And we're going to start by going through some of the tools needed. What I like to use is a bread knife from the kitchen and also some sharp pruning shears. It's important to make sure that all of your cutting tools are sterilized while you're doing this to prevent bacteria and fungus to spread throughout your garden. So what I like to do is I have a weak solution of hydrogen peroxide in sterilized water and simply spray your tools down with this solution and then carefully wipe them off. This will ensure a clean tool and also a clean environment to work in. Very important and overlooked, I'm sure, by a lot of gardeners. So after you're done doing that, what you're going to want to do is determine how you can tell that your hibiscus needs to be root pruned. Usually the first step is that you can see roots popping up out of the top of the root ball here. And also out of the holes here. That's a pretty good indication that there's a tangled root ball that's going to have to be root pruned. Also, a lot of times, you can tell by the look of the plant, it might be struggling to stay alive, for one thing, and it seems like you're giving it a lot of water and it's just not absorbing it. It's not absorbing water or nutrients. So it is basically telling you it's time to root prune. This takes about, on average, about 15 minutes, and it's a good 15 minutes spent with your hibiscus because it gives you time to look over the root ball for root rot and also look at the general overall health of the plant and in the branches to make sure there's no rot going on, wilted leaves and wilted branches and things of that nature. So today we're going to be using one of my favorite hibiscus. It's called Carnation, and it's one that I actually won at an auction through the Southern California Hibiscus Society. It's a beautiful hot pink hibiscus from Hidden Valley Hibiscus. So this is what you want to do: is take your hibiscus and lean it over on the side, okay, just like so. And you're going to want to press gently to loosen up the root ball a little bit. And what this will do, it will make it easier to remove from the pot. Now, after you've taken it out of the pot, you can see how root bound it is. It's actually taking in the shape of the pot here on the bottom, and this is nothing but a tangled mess. Now the objective here is to cut off this spiral zone. I like to take off almost a third, but not quite, of the bottom of this section here of the root ball. And you'll see how I do this. What you're going to want to do is lay it down on its side, and at this point you're not going to hurt it. This is very important that you do this, or you know, your hibiscus may end up dying in the long run if it remains in the pot. And find a comfortable area for the plant to lay down so you don't break any of the branches or the leaves. And gently cut into the bottom of the root zone here, just like this. So now you've cut the bottom part of the root ball off, and what that's going to do is going to ensure top growth when this starts to take up nutrients and water. Next, what I like to do is, some people like to take a garden tool and rake through here to loosen up the root ball, but I like to do this by hand. Just gently massage these roots. I call it tickling. You want to tickle the root ball. And so just do this gently and bring out some of those roots and look for any sign of root rot. A little bit on top. Don't be afraid to really get down in there. You're going to want to loosen up some of these roots. This is a thicker root here. This could be the taproot here. And don't be afraid to cut into that one. And you can see how dry it is in here. It just doesn't want to take up any water. So you want to loosen this up because we're going to be saturating it after I repot it. And that's a very important part of this whole process. And it will show signs of improvement almost immediately. Make sure you get the bottom. You can feel the real thick roots down here. Here's another thick root there. Don't be afraid to tear some off. And you know, one thing, I hope you have fun doing this. It's a very important part of the hobby, so that's what we're left with. Hi, welcome back. So here we have the old soil from the root bound pot. And it's very important that we don't reuse this soil because it could be contaminated with fungus and bacteria that could eventually kill one or several of your plants if you decide to use it. So what I like to do is just put it in the green waste. What this is, it's a high quality coconut coir I use, and we'll be talking about that in a little bit. As good as it looks, don't be tempted to use it because it could be problematic down the road. So now what we're going to do is get a clean pot. This one's clean, and it's a little larger than the one that it came out of. And let me show you what I use. This is Royal Gold Basement Mix, and it's the richest blend out of a bag, I think, available on the market. It is so rich in nutrients that it has perfect drainage. So this is my favorite mix I like to use. It's very arid, and it's what I believe to be the best quality mix available out of the bag on the market, Royal Gold Basement Mix. It's infused with several types of nutrients, including worm castings and kelp. So this is how I like to do this. Let me go through this. This is a very important step, is take your basement mix and go right to the bottom of it. And you're going to want to take a look at how much root ball you have and how much approximate basement mix you're going to want to put on the bottom. Now, as you can see, I've gone straight to the bottom with this beautiful basement mix, and you're going to want to go through here and whip a little more air into it. Hibiscus like a lot of air around the roots. That's very important. And this is my handmade scooper. It's a compost scooper. That looks like it's about enough, maybe a little bit more. Break it up really nicely. Yeah, it's so rich and it's so nice to handle. Here's another shot. Okay, so I think we're ready to introduce the plant that we're working on into its new home. And as you can see, there's plenty of soil in here for it to grab hold to. Now what I like to do is maybe test it out a little bit, take a look at it. This is actually perfect. So I think we're ready to backfill. Now, at this point, you might think that you need a second person, but actually, all you need is to be able to hold on to this exactly where you want it while you backfill with the basement core. Now if it's going to lean, you can feel that it's going to lean, you're going to want to hit that side first. It acts as a shim to kind of shim it up straight. See how it stands? And at this point you're going to want to stand back a little bit, make sure that the plant is as closest to the center as possible, and that it's not leaning in any direction. That's important because this is the opportunity you're going to want to take to straighten out the angle of the plant if it had been leaning at any time. And as you can see, it's looking dead on. So just continue backfilling here, and I'll show you when when to stop. It's okay to cover up these roots. You're going to want to bring the core, the coconut core, up to the very top of the bottom of the trunk here. Now, and you can see how far I've gotten with this activity. I've done several in a day, maybe 10 in one day. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it, knowing that I'm ultimately saving the life of the hibiscus. And all throughout the spring and summer into fall, it'll be happy and with new growth and beautiful flowers. As you can see, it's holding up really well, but at this point it's really important to introduce some nutrients for it to recover from the trauma and stress that the plant has just gone through. And for that I use several products. One is Liquinox B1 Transplant Solution. It's a 020 root stimulant, and it's inexpensive, and I highly recommend it. Another one you can use is SuperNova, which is available on the Hidden Valley Hibiscus website, and it too helps with the health of the plant after root prune. And what we have here is a mixture of SuperNova and compost tea. The compost tea is from some friends of mine at Malibu Compost, and it's some of the best biodynamic compost tea you could possibly ever use. And these are the two I'm using today. So what you're going to want to do, take your mixture of Malibu compost tea and SuperNova, and you can see it's a real light mixture. That's all it really needs to be, is a light mixture. And gently water around the root area and really get it into the root ball. That's really going to be key here. You may want to turn this around, start from this side here. And this is about all you need, is 1 gallon at this point. You're not going to want to overwater it. Just make sure you're getting it into the root ball. And I can tell you right now, this plant, Carnation, is going to be real happy I'm doing this. So what's going to happen is that new root ball is going to soak up all that compost tea, Malibu compost tea, and SuperNova, and it's going to drink it right up. It's going to take it right up. The root ball is no longer a tangled mess. It's loosened up. It's been aerated, and that way the new roots will have room to get established and take up nutrients and water, which is vital to the health of a hibiscus. So a couple things you're going to want to look for while root pruning your hibiscus are root rot and shock that the hibiscus might have a little bit of after cutting into the root ball. Now, I've never experienced root rot while root pruning, but if you do, what you want to do is just simply remove it from the root ball and put it in the green waste. And also make sure you're cleaning your tools. This is a good time to clean your tools after handling the rooted, the rotting roots. Also shock. You're gonna see signs of shock by looking at your hibiscus, and the leaves will be wilted. These aren't wilted actually, but that's one symptom of shock, and it's not the end of the world. What you're going to want to do is continue using these excellent products every couple weeks, and your hibiscus will recover, guaranteed. So now that we've talked about some of the things that might happen, let me tell you, root pruning your hibiscus is the best thing you can do. These have all been root pruned. And repotting a root-bound hibiscus is really not that bad. It may be a little traumatic for the plant, and the gardener, but believe me, it's the best thing you can do for your plant, okay? It ensures a healthy, beautiful plant with large blooms. Now, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me on Instagram. I'm the Hibiscus Whisperer, or you can go to Southern California Hibiscus Society online or on Facebook. Thank you for watching, and happy hibiscusing.